Look who's here. How's it going? So how is it to feel to go from being in paradise and then watching
this episode of Game of Thrones?
Last episode of Game of Thrones.
We watched this in paradise on the couch.
How's that?
On the laptop. Thank you, free trial. Couldn't get the iPad to go to the TV. And I thought about bringing Apple TV before we left, and she was like, she's kind of wishy-washy about it. So did it on the laptop. She had a Bluetooth speaker, so we were able to crank it a little bit. But, yeah. Oh, oof. Hi, everybody.
Damiani, Brandon Jones.
We are here to talk about Game of Thrones Episode 5 from Season 8. Spoiler warning.
Penultimate episode.
To everyone, second to last episode of this entire series. We're going to be talking all about it. Apologies, we didn't do this on Monday. But I was in...
Tuesday.
We
do Monday.
Yeah, we usually do it Mondays.
This episode is just messing my head so much.
But I just wrapped up Judges Week. So that was fun. Just did a bunch of fun E3 appointments. We have a lot of embargoes and impressions coming from that. And I was in Kauai. The island of Kauai on Monday.
I thought you said Kauai, Jones.
Kauai?
I'm not going to lie. I just heard that.
I think it's Hawaii, so it's probably Kauai.
Is it, chat?
And it was wonderful. And I'm just a little bit tan, but we're back.
Nice.
And it's time to talk about... I want to start with the two things I liked from that episode.
Good stuff.
Because I hear people talking about a lot of things that they liked, and that's the thing that really bums me out is the more I think about it, like, I haven't been able to stop talking about this episode all week. Like, man and I trade off being like, all right, I'm done. I can't talk about it anymore. And then 20 minutes later, it's like, the thing about Arya is... and I think even after all of my analysis again and again and again, the two things that I do really like are Qyburn getting his head smashed against the wall. So great. I thought that might have been a Cersei move. I thought it actually might have been the Mountain that's just like, you know what, or like maybe she gets in between the Mountain and somebody else. But there were a lot of, I can't believe that happened. I think that's a pretty good way for Qyburn to go. I think that was pretty rad. And I really like I don't remember his name, the leader of the Gold Cloaks getting sacked from behind. Them just being like, where's she going to come from? And just the whole front of the wall, just gets
that character, that actor that got for it, who spoke 2 whole lines?
I don't know if he said anything,
can't
did
remember.
He?
Yeah.
He was in the throne room for a second.
You don't remember the name. You
right.
remember the name. It's just that's how throwaway that was.
But I mean... With TV, sometimes that's intentional. Film, every now and then they'll do that. They'll cast a celebrity, and you expect them to play a big role, and they don't. But I thought that was funny. I thought that moment was just like Arya in episode 3. I was like, whoa! That was definitely a big shocker. And notice I'm not saying Clegane Bowl, because ultimately, at the end of the day, anything that really happened in that keep was whatever. Who cares? The whole thing fell over. So... It was neat that they got to square off against each other, but he didn't save us from the Mountain.
Yeah,
they would have gotten buried regardless. I enjoyed the aesthetics of the fight. That was how I expected the Hound to go out.
Made for the first stare down on the stairs.
Oh yeah,
made for a beautiful wall.
I'm glad it even happened, because I don't know if there was a guarantee. It seemed like it was going to happen, but it was mostly fans talking about it.
It was. I think it was only satisfactory in that I got to see so many people who believed that this would happen, being told it wouldn't happen, and just I was more excited to watch the reactions of people seeing it than the scene itself. Although I was borderline cackling at the whole scene of it, because it was this is how they're doing it. I was like, this is really out of all the things that are happening, we're getting this now. I was like, this is how it's going down, and Jones. The only satisfying part of that was the final thing when he realizes he can't win. You're not gonna beat them out, and come on. And he's like, that's it. We're going together. And I told Huber this. I was like, I was expecting to see a ton of memes and gifs from it. And the one that popped in my head as soon as it happened, I was like, because he's always like, I want one chicken. I'll take 2 chickens. Now I'm gonna have every fucking chicken. So the chicken meme, I was like, when he's laughing and he tackles the mountain through it's I'll take my fucking order of chicken to fucking go. And I was like, oh, please someone dub that line over that. I just want a to go meme, taking my chicken to go. I was like, ah. I was like, it made it much more entertaining.
He wasn't defending anybody, he wasn't saving anybody, he wasn't, you know what I mean, the mountain like wasn't a threat, you know what I mean, like, so you look at like the Viper fight, which he lost, like that was done in Tyrion's honor, and there were like so many stakes and so many things involved in that. This was just a brawl, and it was cool.
This is fan service.
Yeah,
like this fan service, and like the mountain, like they tried their best to show like the mountain, because he's like almost supposed to be a mindless zombie, but like he disobeys the orders.
Yeah,
but that's like the only humanity you get out of him. Like it would have been more meaningful if it was pre-death, essentially. If it was Clegane fighting back in that battle for Tyrion or whatever, like the stakes would have been so much better. This was like it was always just going to be some kind of fan service battle. And it was in the most fan service way, like epic things. The world's ending around you, and we got nothing to lose, so just go at it and stuff. And it's like, and they both die. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure,
yeah,
pretty predictable
comparatively to most other things that are going on.
Yes,
pretty expected, pretty epic. Where do we even begin, dude? I don't like.
Let's start the most important, I think, hot topic. Like, let's just get the biggest thing out of the way. And literally get the biggest thing out of the way, and we can talk about everything else there. And that's obviously, like, I think the biggest point of contention, the most divisive thing about this episode, which is what people have been fearing or hoping for, was Daenerys is fully becoming the Mad Queen, essentially, and just wreaking havoc and becoming who everyone warned she would become. And, yeah, Jon's like... Yeah, what side are you on that? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, I can speak about it, but I want to hear their opinions.
I've had some interesting close friends that were actually very cool with it. I saw a friend of mine compared it to like dropping the bombs in the end of World War II, you know, and like just basically that she's had enough and she just wants to definitively win the whole thing, make there absolutely no question to it. Which I think this actually did the opposite. She's basically she's like, I'm now officially going to make an enemy of Tyrion, an enemy of, the Onion Knight, an enemy of Jon, an enemy of the Starks, an enemy of everybody. Like, she's not going to have any friends but the Unsullied and the Dothraki at this point. So yeah, it does seem like madness. It does seem like her just, like, in the last moment, because we don't really get a lot. I guess we'll start with this. We don't get a lot right before this happens, because I know a lot of people are like, look at what she did throughout the seasons. It's like, yeah, but look at what she's been doing the last couple of episodes. Like, we don't get another moment with her after all of this. And I like that we do see how this affects King's Landing, but it's interesting that we don't get really any kind of resolution with her. So it's hard to kind of know where her head is at the end of this. Is she, like, what was she doing? Was she literally like, cackling this entire time? Or is there anything strategic about where she's striking? Or, like, and, like, the last thing she says... There's a lot of things leading up to her making this decision, but the very last thing she says, the last line of dialogue she has, is Jon being like, no, I don't want to make out. And she's like, King's Landing will burn. You know, like, that was the moment. Was her trying to, like, all over Jon, and it's like, it's frustrating to think about her taking the throne back for her family, her getting back at Cersei for killing Missandei, her, breaking the wheel, like, all the things that she said that she's wanted to do, to build it up to literally the last thing where you see her like, like, that's it, I can't take it anymore. That's when Jon won't make out with her. It's like, it's just a weird prelude directly in, and she does see the castle, like, clearly seeing the keep, like, freaks her out. But nothing happened there in that moment. There was a lot of, like, people making decisions, and that was okay. It's kind of the same thing with Clegane and Arya, where it's like, that's fine. That's actually an interesting scene for them to talk about, like, who, should we go and can you learn anything from me? Just like, not right now. Why are we doing this right now? And why was it when she was on the wall, when she had already won, when she had taken the gold, the company and the boats, and, clearly Cersei was finished. Like, why then did she lose it? Like, that, it's very strange. It's very, yeah. Those are my, like, initial feelings.
With Daenerys, like, I've seen the arguments for both. Like, both sides. People who like what happened, people didn't. I've seen people trot out here are all the examples of her history of, like, the seeds were sown for her to become crazy. She's always been kept in check by people. Those people died. Like, things have happened to her in the last few episodes where that she now snaps. And but then there are people like, no, it's too rushed. Like, because, like, I started to see some of the logic, and, like, they've clearly shown that Dany has potential to do really horrible things, but the argument that, like, she was always and only kept in check by other people who were around her to, like, I don't know if I completely buy that. Like, there's just I just think back to was it the end of season 3, after we'd just been like decimated by the Red Wedding. What did they show? They show her liberating one of the cities, like it was Marine, I believe, and the slaves are coming out and like they're calling her mother, Misa, in their language, and like she's seeing like how happy she is making people by like freeing them by it's like basically like saving these innocent people. And I just can't, like, that transformation from that moment to like she will kill even innocent people, women and children, to get to her objective seemed like a little bit too much of a leap in logic. Because even when she was like in her like hiding, mourning like the death of her second dragon, one of her best friends, she didn't like murder Tyrion on the spot. Like, you failed me again. She's like, if you fail me one more time, I will kill you. She still has the capacity for reason and logic. And people, I keep seeing this argument that in that moment when she's won, the bells are rung and everything, and she's staring at the castle, like for some reason the image of the Red Keep just like sets her off, and like that's what makes her go crazy. I'm like, I don't know, like I have such a hard time in that moment believing that's what made her furious. Like if there was something that happened, like Cersei killed someone else, or she saw someone else die again in front of her, and like maybe the bells rung and like someone died then. It's like, okay, that's it. I thought that was gonna happen. The bells would ring and someone would keep fighting from Cersei's army. And she would witness that. She's like, that's it. No mercy and stuff. Yeah. I was hoping, Jones, I was hoping for anything else. I was hoping she would just rush the keep and just blow up the keep. I was like, that's fine. I thought that's what she was going to do. Like, straight path. And then she starts blaming everybody. I was like, no. What? I was like, no.
Or like start, because you see Jon stop because they all throw their swords down, and maybe she like lands next to Jon, and it's like, no, we're gonna still go. And he's like, what are you talking about? We won. She's like, let's make sure, like, let's not take any chances. And like they have an argument, and she's just like, you know what? Forget it. Like, none of you are really supporting me. I'll go do it. But it was just crazy mad. And that's the thing is, a lot of people were like, you've seen all these horrible things she's been doing. You know about her lineage. Why are you surprised? And it's like, I'm surprised because that was like the introduction to this character. Was like, she has a long journey to take. She has a lot to learn. But here's where she comes from, and hopefully she doesn't do this. And like, then she did it. So it's like, why? Like, why all these intricate details? Why? And this is not. Yeah. I really want to put forward. I actually want to talk about like the books as almost as little as possible, because all this is just stuff that's been bubbling up from the show itself. And so like, I had expectations because we spent a lot more time with her in the books. But even just this journey that she's taken in the show, because now you have to not only commit, because that was one of the things I kept thinking about as I'm running around in my head. I'm like, yeah, can she come back from this? And it's like, no, she's clearly the villain. We're just going to take her out, and then that's like the end of the story. But I'm like, maybe they're setting up for that, but that doesn't seem likely. So now she's got to be nuts like the whole time. Now we got to do a whole nother episode of her just like,
that's where we have to go.
Dark eyes, like, it's like staring at all the troops.
We now have you just literally can call it now.
Grey Worm's next to her, like breathing heavily, like,
like
how long is that going to last?
There's probably going to be a fight between the anyone who's still loyal to Daenerys and everyone who witnessed that, and like, you need to get out of here, like, you're done.
So what? Yeah,
and that's gonna I was like,
so this idea, it'd be one thing if she did something really drastic or really horrible to try to achieve a goal, but like, I'm left in a position where I'm like, I don't even know what she's trying to do anymore. Like, I don't know what you would think.
Is she just gonna leave now? Like,
that's why I always thought she was gonna do.
Jones, I've always hoped that maybe if she realized the throne wasn't really, like, she saw what the reality was.
To me, that made sense.
And she's like,
she did that several times in her past, where she was like, oh, they need me over here, I gotta go over here. Oh, they need me over here. And she's like, oh, I keep thinking about Westeros, but there's like the world.
Yeah,
and there's
she can go
still
back.
So many places in this world.
She was loved over on the other side of the world by the people she freed.
Right.
She was ruling, like, she could end up ruling an area, like, and she has the Dothraki loyal to her. Just go back over there, rule there, and like, leave shitty Westeros to its like shitty stuff. Like, it's a shit place to live. Like, why do you want to be there? It's like, peace out, everyone. That was so many things, Jones. Again, I was hoping so many different things would happen, because it wasn't, my problem with this wasn't the leap in logic so much. I acknowledge that it is a bit of a leap in the character development, This was like the most predictable, boring thing
Right.
that could have happened. And that ultimately is a disappointment because I was hoping with any one of these tons of thread lines we've watched for so many seasons, there'd be some kind of cool surprise payoff to them. And there's been like almost none. For this season has been like no good payoffs. And I'm just like,
and I like
why?
Like,
what happened?
Regardless of the characters, regardless of the TV and movie, whatever, animated, a dragon laying waste to a city is extremely cool. That's
visually,
a very cool thing to happen. So I was totally mixed, like this whole time, just like, just buildings toppling and, everybody's dying and the castle's falling over and Arya's, like slammed left and right.
Yeah, the Children of Men sequence.
Yeah. And like, it's epic and I get like what they're going for. I'm like, it's tragic. I feel sorry for these people. But at the same time, like, she's mad. I got it. Like, I'm just waiting for like something else to happen, some other like wrinkle or some twist or something. It's just, that's why again, like, if we begin like the next episode, and who's she gonna talk to? Grey Worm, I guess.
Yeah, Grey
Worm. Nobody else.
I mean, she'll probably try.
She's gonna be back up in the tower, like she's gonna take Cersei's glass of wine and just sit up there like Cersei did, and like, what?
Yeah, like Tyrion's gonna have to talk with her unless he just runs away from it, which he's not really one to do that.
But she knows. Jaime's gone, so she knows he did that to Jaime. Like he didn't.
I don't think she saw Jaime get through or anything. She might hear about it because Jaime didn't. He was like raised.
But he's not in the camp. He's not in the tent. So like one of her generals would be like, "Yeah, he's
out. He can't. Yeah.
Remember that tent we tied him up in? Yeah, he's not there anymore.
Maybe he said, maybe he actually won't go back to her now that he's seen all this.
Like maybe we'll get a repeat Varys moment where like. She's like, that's it. You betrayed me for the last time.
If he dies,
and then,
like,
no. But
way,
then it's a twisty where she tries to kill Tyrion, and then like the North comes. I don't know.
I mean, right now, like, yeah, honestly, like,
I'm having a hard time predicting what would happen in episode 6. I'm not enjoying the process of predicting what's going to happen in episode 6, and I'm not particularly looking forward to anything that's happening in episode 6.
Jones, I feel like
and it's a bummer, and so I'm not like petition remake it. It's just like. It's a head scratcher. I'm trying to figure out, and we haven't gotten to Jaime.
There's plenty of other stuff, but I mean, Jones.
It's just.
I think ultimately the shortcomings that we're talking about now, and what we'll probably keep talking about with some of the other stuff, is this was rushed. This is all rushed. They didn't give it enough episodes. Yeah. I think the Long Night was supposed to be the end of Winds of Winter. I think everything that was supposed to be beyond that was crammed in these last 3 episodes. And, like, without enough direction from Gurm, probably.
Whoa, dude.
I feel like
blows my mind.
I feel like we got the Cliff Notes version. Yeah. We got the Cliff Notes version.
Wow.
The Cliff Notes of the Cliff Notes, because they probably got, like, not even the fully developed bullet points from George R. R. Martin.
Wow.
And, like, that's the thing. If they did not take enough time and effort to try and like develop it and figure out like original ways to bridge those points. We got to get from point A to point B and into point C. They're like, let's just skip point B. Let's just go all the way to the end and stuff, because I think that it's like people just like the twists and stuff. People like seeing shocking stuff in the show. This is what gets ratings. So I mean, people are hating on this, but they're still watching it. It's getting record numbers.
Yeah.
And anything they do after this spinoffs, we're gonna want to watch because like, oh, maybe they'll fix stuff now, or like, they actually, I think they knew what they were doing, and it just stinks that like the quality of the show, because when you think back to the first 3-4 seasons, so good.
Yeah.
Like everything. Like I've done 2 rewatches of them. They're just so good.
I rewatched season 1, but I've yet to rewatch the whole thing. I think it'll take me like a year or 2, and then I'll be like, all right, cue it up, let's do it.
Like, yeah. I think we were talking on Tuesday night. Ben, with a few of us, he was pointing out that like the between Robert and Cersei back in season 1, the little sit down where they are honest with each other. Was there ever a point?
Yeah.
That conversation is better than anything like in the last 3 seasons. That one scene, it's just like, where did the quality writing go? Oh.
It's a bummer.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing.
Yeah, but it's funny because like at the same time I almost feel like, there's some episodes that like I think fans of the book were just like, woo, that just kind of worked out perfectly. But once we started getting to like the middle part of the show, it was almost like every single episode had like, oh yeah, that one part from that one scene that I was looking forward to, that was cool, or that one introduction to like a new character, a new city, or a new plot point. And then the middle was like, yeah, okay, that kind of was that. And there was almost always like one weird thing per episode, like some character choice, some line of dialogue that was changed. And I think what was so shocking and so it's so hard to sit within me this past week was this episode seemed like all that. It's almost like every single beat was like, what? Like, it was funny, my friend that still defends it, like, I was like, name one thing. There's got to be something you didn't like about this episode. And he was like, oh yeah, why the hell, like, Euron just washes up when Jaime walks
that was
by.
the dumbest shit ever.
Euron's like,
that was more fan service shit, like,
Jaime,
It's like, I'm Euron, I'm gonna have one great last fight because I'm the OP character who did all this cool shit. I gotta have a cool death. I was like,
I saw a great tweet that was like, congrats to Euron for becoming like the greatest, like, oh, you know, like the guy we'll always know. It's like, oh, this fucking guy again. He's like, that's it. Like every single time he came back,
he just shows up when he needs
like,
to.
Oh, right.
I mean, he basically has like ability to teleport to people. He just teleport to like when Cersei was flying the dragons, or not sorry, Daenerys when she shot down Dragon 2. He just teleported there and knew they were there. Like he's got like superpowers.
Dude, again, a show parallel, like building up the fear of those boats. Like, oh my god, they took out her dragon, like immediately, like 3 bolts and it went down, you know, and then like not a problem this time, like not.
So that
didn't talk about the strategy. Like some people were explaining, you could kind of see her doing a different strategy, but it was just like weird. It was again just strange. The drama that they were setting up in these episodes, that like you're going to have to worry about these things. You know, Bronn pulling that gun out. I guess that led to her dragon dying, and that was it. I guess we weren't afraid of those things anymore after that. It was weird, like, you know, Cersei at the end of the last episode, standing in between the two of them, like at the gate. It was like, whoa, how are we gonna get past this? And it's like, no problem.
It's a shame the second dragon had to die first for Daenerys to learn tactics and actually like adhere to them. I mean, the first dragon dying from a low altitude spear should have been like, make sure the dragons fly high. Yeah. Make sure you use cloud cover. Use the sun to blind when you like. And she used all those. She actually used good tactics to take out the fleet. And I'm like, oh, imagine if you had 3 of these doing this. Like,
and it was super satisfying. You know, like when she was winning, it was like, yippee.
Yeah, things went so well for them. I was like, listen, like, okay, maybe. I was like, I thought this is her faith is being rewarded finally. Right. She's had all this shit happen to her because of stupidity, mistakes, but finally. They're given one last chance. They execute on this plan. Everything they said would happen. The bells ring. I was like, man, I'm sorry. To go back to it again, I was just like, man, everything was right. She did everything right. Like, you won. No, I'm not. But anyway, Euron versus Jaime, though, was like... First of all, Jaime, like, I'm sorry. Jaime winning when he's not a good fighter anymore. First in the long night. Now here, I was like... Oh, 2 mortal wounds. It's a flesh wound. I'm gonna walk all the way up the Red Keep, all the way up there with no problem. I won't die from bleeding out before I get there. So I guess Jaime has superpowers too, as well. When it involves Cersei, he can do like anything as well. So
anything for love.
Yeah, we gotta remember there's magic in this world.
There's magic.
We can't ignore the magic explanations for this.
Gotta label that stuff.
Yeah. So. Jaime, you're on. What else this episode that?
Well, as long as you're talking about Jaime, man. I mean, my God.
Yeah, want to get to that? Yeah.
So, I have, man, poor Amanda has heard me scream about Cersei so much during the show, and I was so frustrated with this character. I was just like, man, they gotta be building up to something. And again, it was just kind of like Daenerys, where it wasn't like, oh, what a weird choice. What a crazy turn, or like what a drastic decision she had to make. Just kind of phased out. Like she didn't really do anything. She just kind of stood there watching, and then she had one dude, and then another dude, and then another dude, and it was just all these like dudes kept coming at her and being like, hey, and she was like, all right, and then so it's like, okay,
yeah,
That's one way to go. She didn't really say anything, and that actually hit me today. Man, I can't stop thinking about this, Damiani. I didn't think about this till today. I think it was like driving around, and I'm like, you know what else sucked? Is when Jaime's like, all that matters is us. She didn't say anything. Like she wasn't like it would have been great if she was like, hey, I said Bronn to kill you. I'm sorry. You know, like I don't know why I'm the way I am. Just like he said, they're like, man, what was it that led us to get to this point? If it was some kind of like. You know, if they met somewhere, you know, if they actually had this like moment, she just got misty-eyed and drunk and was just like, you know, and again, it's like, okay, if that's what's gonna happen, like maybe set that up, but like they maybe that would just be really surprised or something. And I was talking with my friends. He was like, I don't know. It seemed like they were kind of going back in the womb, and I was like, they could have stabbed each other and achieved the same thing. Like, if there's so much turmoil in their relationship, I want them to go out fighting. I wanted there to be some kind of like, scuff, because that's also their relationship. It all is them. Like they don't need to be kissy face. They don't need to like weep into each other's eyes. Like they can be messy, and you can still wrap it up at the same time. And just this idea of like, oh. Oops. Like, I thought that would be open.
Maybe with the castle falling apart, the bottom area might not be the best way to go. Like, just walk out normal way instead.
Like if they, or if it just collapsed up, they could see like Lando escaping the second Death Star, like he was supposed to get blown up. Like, oh, I almost made it. I can see the exit, and then kaboom! Like that would have been shocking. It would have been a surprise, but just kind of giving up. Like, well, at least we were rich. Peace.
So drones. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack.
Just Jaime in general, just making that call. I was like, oh, okay. He's gonna try to shut her out. Like, not really. I mean, he did what Tyrion said. And to be honest, I'll say 3 things, because I did weep a little bit because I am the younger of 2 brothers, and him saying goodbye to
goodbye
Jaime
scene was
really
a good scene. That was a good scene. I like that scene. Yeah.
So 3.
That was a good. That was good. Those are the moments I like.
I'll pass the conch to you, Damiani.
But. Yeah, I'll unpackage that, Jones. Let me start with Cersei. I was really shocked that was her ultimate plan, was that she had no answer for the dragon. Like, she obviously thought the scorpions would have a chance after Euron had killed it. Like, her putting so much faith into Euron, like when she was being told, listen, it's kind of over, we might want to get after her. He goes, you just need one shot. Euron shot down that dragon. Like, she's in denial, but like it was very uncharacteristic, because she's always gone to great lengths to do whatever it takes, no matter how crazy or what the collateral damage would be.
Right.
And what I'm getting at here, Jones, I thought it was going to be Wildfire Part 2.
Well, you could see some of it
going
off. You saw some of
it because it was still there, and it's a little weird to this point. Like, I guess, cool. I guess your continuity, you didn't forget there was a wildfire stored somewhere, but all these other problems. But I actually thought, Jones, this was like such a good thing in my head, I thought, and did not come to be. And I think that was the one I was the most disappointed, and also involves Daenerys. I thought during the stare down, I thought Cersei was going to do it. I thought she was going to be like, fuck this, blow up even with everyone in there. Like, she was dumb and landed again. She didn't learn her lesson. Right. Stop landing on shit. I thought they had a plan, like, blow it all up. It was like, burn it all.
Yeah.
Like, real Mad King style, but Mad Cersei. And everyone just dies, and she leaves the Red Keep. I was like, there's a moment where she's just standing there looking out. I'm like, she's gonna blow it all up. Like, it's perfect. It's Cersei. And Daenerys in that moment, if she survives it, she's gonna be like, that could have fucking been me. Look at all this death and destruction. Yeah. I was about to do that.
Yeah.
She just showed me what I would have become. And that would have been the moment where Daenerys is like, oh my God, never again. Like, I will not do that. Obviously, that didn't come to pass. So that was a bit of a disappointment in like what happened after. But when we're going down and they're like Jaime and her. Jaime.
Right.
I remember when I talked with Amanda, I misread the scene with her and Brienne, and it played out just the way as like Amanda said it would, where he did not go there to kill her.
Right.
Like, I thought it would have been poetic if when they met in the tower, pushed her out or something, or like when they embraced, there was like this shot where he like looked down at her and there was like a little bit of space between them. I was like, he's gonna take a dagger and stab her or something. He's like, it's over. Didn't do that. He straight up was there because he wanted to be with her at the end. And like, that was a huge gut-wrenching moment to me in terms of disappointment. I was just like, why? Even to someone to me who had like so much ignorant faith that like, you'll pull it out, like, you'll save his character arc. It's like, no, yeah, just it went out the window. Like, you pushed it out like Bran did. And it's
like Daenerys. You were just kind of back to square one. You're like, oh, okay.
I hated that. I hated everything about Jaime from the moment they met and what he tried to do with her after that. Like, I was like, this, whatever. Okay, fine. But Cersei's end, I've seen a lot of complaints about, like, thinking that she got a sympathetic death. I don't think so at all.
Okay.
I think she was. I think she. You were talking about like her not acknowledging Jaime and stuff, like
Right.
words. I think she was really not like. She was still distant from Jaime. I think she's like in her mind, Jaime's done. Like she was like,
sure.
oh
Man, she was going to give up his kid.
Yeah.
She sent Bronn to kill him.
Yeah,
like,
she's like she doesn't care about that. She only cares about her and her child. And her last lines is like, not like this, not like this. She's like afraid.
Right.
She's in terror, and she's like she's lost all hope. And she's dying in a place where like they probably won't find her when she's dead. Like it's like yeah, you're being entombed. Like you're done. Like you're being erased essentially. Like it was. And she was verbally saying, "This is like one of the like she was conveying. This is one of the worst things that can happen to me. This one not one of the worst ways I wanted to go out." And she gets that, and everyone's like, "Oh, she's in the arms of someone she loved." I was like, I think in that moment, anyone next to you'd hug or something. It's like you're just about to die. It's like she didn't say like "I love you, Jaime" or anything like that. It's just. I interpret it as like
if this building collapsed right now, Damiani, would they find us entwined?
yes, they'd be like, Jones, hug me, Jones, please.
But when she sees him, you know what I mean? Like, this is a man, she just used his baby as leverage, if she wasn't even pregnant at all. That fun plot point there. And sent, more than one person probably to kill him. And sees him and then is like, oh, hi. Like, I would just love this scare of her, like, oh, shit. Like, what if Bronn failed and he's coming to kill me? Like, I just wanted that to be interesting. I wanted, like, one last, like, let's, even if we got, again, it's like, I feel like all these, long, drawn out, like all the buildings blowing up. It's like, let's just take 60 seconds of that away and just give me 30 more seconds or something. 3 more lines of dialogue that just show what a crazy couple of cats they are, man. Like, the Lannisters are nuts. And it, like, it's interesting to see. I think after the two of them are gone, like, I'd really be surprised if Tyrion, does not survive the show. So, like, it really shows, like, how different they are. And I'm totally fine with Jaime dying in some kind of flawed way, dying not being, like, perfect. Him just being like, okay, this is, like, the one last thing that I'll do. Even if he had killed Cersei, like, man, that gaguy's got baggage. Man, that guy has made so many lives miserable.
I thought I think he definitely did go there expecting to die. I'm pretty sure he didn't care what was going to happen to him. At least that part fell in line. Like,
I did like him walking through. A surprise, like nobody spotted him, but like, I did kind of like him walking through the crowd. It was interesting seeing him like back home, and I believe that same with Arya. I believe that the two of them could probably make their way through that castle because they know it's.
He knew all the routes and stuff. She, with her skills, could definitely figure that part. That stuff wasn't unbelievable.
But like, dude, even in the prequels, man, even like as bad as episode 1, 2, and 3 is, like when Ewan McGregor is still like, "You are the chosen," like I was weeping. It's like I'm like, okay, I get how complicated, I get how sticky a situation this is. Like I get this relationship between the two of them, and in this, it was like. Here you have way better writing, way better, not necessarily actors, but like a performance, the capability of a performance with all the pieces coming together. And it's just like Jaime being like, "I'm sorry, we can't bang right now," and her crying, and we're out. Like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I filled it all. Like that was so bizarre.
Yeah, I've never been
so
particularly.
Strange. There was no symbolism of where they were, like, and that they were down where the dragon is, and like I guess we see that in the opening, but like, where they would have been could have been an interesting spot, some kind of history with
something like
the
that.
family or something, or some like maybe they get into a vault and there's money there, so they're dying with their money. Nothing. There was nothing. It was a hallway.
The Iron Throne or whatever, like the reference to like when she was about to drink the nightshade to like end her life when she thought Stannis was about to take the keep.
And this has got to be the worst for, like, I'm seeing chat, like, chat seems kind of to be in line with what we're talking about. I know a lot of people are being jokey, but, like, there's got to be a couple people watching the stream or watching this archive that are like, I'm pulling my hair right now. I thought this episode was great. I thought it was really fun. I hate these characters. I didn't expect them to have any more grand of a, I understand that the story needs to be told fast. I don't care if it's predictable. Yeah. This is just,
I do have a different take.
It's got to end at some point. And I haven't had this attitude the whole time. Like, I thought episode 3 was really neat. I like the first couple. That 4 was, weird just in kind of what it was setting up for some of the characters.
Yeah,
but, like,
4
this was
probably the roughest episode.
I felt I was standing outside of myself watching this episode. What was happening? It's like, what? Yeah. It felt so strange. and I have had. This is not like the next day where we're getting up and griping, man. I've had all week to just again and again and again like reset my emotions.
Oh yeah, because
we
we're doing this later in the week. We've had way more time to think about this, and like, listen, like, I do have a different line of thinking when it comes to this episode and where we've gone as well. Where I'm not too terribly disappointed in everything in it, and actually think it was like okay. As I said, like everything to me seemed a little straightforward and predictable. That's my greatest disappointment. I still got enjoyment out of it beyond just like beautiful cinematography, like this amazing shot.
Oh my god,
yeah,
this
like,
episode looked amazing.
Looks so good. Jon Snow gets a lot of shit lately because everyone thinks he's like the dumbest character, doesn't do anything, and why is everyone championing him? And I think, I don't know if this is a popular opinion, but in this episode, I think his point of view and his attitude was probably like the most meaningful thing to me in the message that I don't know if the show writers were trying to do this message, but it's the message I'm taking out of this. And I hope some people will take out of it. As the observer, he was the one who like stuck to all his ideals, never betrayed them and stuff. And he's now seen virtually everyone betray what happens when they betray their ideals or they go crazy or whatever happens. Like now seeing the person he had on the highest like pedestal, Daenerys. You know, she's human. She makes flaws and stuff. Right. But like I think the message to take away was the horrors that Jon was witnessing from his point of view. Even his own like some of his own men fighting and like turning like disobeying and stuff was that there is no glory and honor in war. I think a lot of people built up Game of Thrones to have an ending that glorified some of the good guys, essentially. They're going to be good people. They're going to win the war, but, like, it's good and happy. There's going to be a happy ending. It's like, this doesn't happen in war. It doesn't matter what time period it is.
Yeah.
This is the reality of it. Like, are we the bad guys? It's like, yeah, when you go to war, everyone is the bad guy, essentially. You're like, this is what happens, and it's an old message, but, like, it still rings true. Even in a fantasy world, this is what happens. Like, everyone's championing Daenerys, I'm going to break the wheel. To do that, you have to slaughter and kill. Like, it's like, this is what it is. Like, what did you expect? Did you, like, I never thought there was ever going to be a satisfying, happy ending in this. It was always going to be some bittersweet thing. I mean, my thing could still come true. I think, because there is no more King's Landing, pretty much, it's like, there was never going to be someone ending up on the Iron Throne. No one will. There will be no more, like, ruler of the Westeros. It's going to be, we've seen too much of damn war. Let's not have a little bit of it for a while. Let's just split, be all our. Let's like agree to like disagree and like rule our own little areas. Let's have like a little council or something. But like, we don't need to go back to the system. Like, you know, we don't like even if even the best ruler on that throne. Like, there's gonna be like problems and stuff because it's just like one person making the calls. No one's really working together to like make things better and stuff. It's just people with differences of opinion who think their answer is better than the other people's answers, and they're all like fighting each other and killing each other over it, rather than trying to get together and be like that's all Jon ever wants to do. He doesn't want to rule. And he wants to like do what's like, you know, the best thing without leading to fighting and shit. He's seen what it does. He's died. He knows what the fuck's up with this. And he's been trying to tell people, and everyone's like, he's dumb. He's not doing anything. He's trying to prevent all this shit without fighting. And it's like what, you want to lie to Cersei? Cersei's seen through everything. Everyone's like, who's dumb for not lying and saying he won't bend the knee to like. Cersei knows what's up. Like, come on. Like, that was like, people getting so angry at that. I was like, come on, it's Cersei. She's the smartest person in, like, probably, like, in scheming and shit. She figures things out. I was like, and people yell at Varys. Like, Varys' death that we haven't even talked about.
Right.
Oh, plot twist worthy! A good plot twist for once, everyone!
Oh, no.
Dracarys.
We got yes. Yeah, I gotta zoom out just a little.
The mother of Sophie has arrived.
Do you need pillows?
Maybe. I need a booster seat and a booster floor. I need booster everything. Hi, y'all. Now, I know we've already discussed... Thank you.
Oh, no, we can...
We've already talked about everything, so I'm just going to sit here and mispronounce some names. Apologies in advance.
More show book differences.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry about the Roy Dutrice pronunciations from last time.
Listen to audiobooks. They don't say Brienne in the books. It's not.
Yeah, they say Brienne.
They say Brienne, Lady Brienne. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll try to say Brienne, and then what is it? Varys.
Varys.
And
Varys is very dead.
He is so dead unless he's actually magical.
That's
And
what
last
we're
night
about
we
to
were at a
talk
dinner party and somebody was like, I heard that Varys might be a merman.
What?
You never see his feet. We're like, whoa, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good theory.
And I was like, I kind of don't think that's what it
Can't
is.
disprove it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know because I saw some
This is
comments
for
that couldn't
me.
hear
I need one now.
I
You
was-
sit on the couch. I need my own mic.
Hey, the audiobooks are
Um,
top tier, especially with who actually does the narration.
Yes.
Yeah.
We started with Daenerys, and then we talked about Jaime and Cersei.
Oh yeah,
We were talking about Jon a little bit.
and Cersei's underwhelming demise.
That's pretty much the summation
Yeah.
of it, yeah.
We couldn't think of a cool thing to do, so we just buried them under the castle.
There you go.
What is
Yeah.
the deeper meaning there?
Oh, there is none.
No, and neither of them like we thought that Jaime was having an arc,
Remember I was telling
and
you
then
about
it was
last
just
time?
like, well, no, actually no arc, and Cersei, no arc. Where's the arc?
I felt
It
like
was more of like just like Cersei was like, and Jaime was like, no.
yeah, they character assassinated Jaime.
Yeah.
That was, I get it now. When we were talking the last time, where it ended up, I was like, okay, I was completely wrong. That was none of that in my head was right. Like,
Yeah.
they really messed up
Yeah,
his
they
character.
messed him up. Yeah.
And Cersei was such a disappointment. We were talking about. I thought she was such a disappointment in the end,
Mm-hmm.
because she didn't have like. I thought she would have some like last act of desperation up her
Right.
sleeve, like the wildfire. I was like, she's gonna blow everything up herself or
Right.
something. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
screw
the
it.
wildfire just sort of like poof poof.
Poof,
It's like what? Yeah, she had nothing, and then there was the moment where the Hound shows up, and she's just like gonna just sneak by here. It's like
That
well,
was so good.
like she had no other things, and she didn't even want to confront. I was surprised that she just didn't even want to confront Daenerys and be like, stop burning the castle, come and talk to me or something. But again, I feel like where we're at is that they've really gotten very one-dimensional with a lot of our characters. And I hope we're going to talk about like R.I.P. Tyrion's intelligence too.
We haven't gone.
Yeah, I'm talking about Tyrion a whole lot. We can get into Tyrion in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The one thing
just-
that I was telling, I haven't even told you this because I thought about when I was driving around today. When Jaime is talking to Cersei, it's really like Jaime's scene. Like she's just kind of like staring at him and sobbing, and like right before they get crushed.
And when has that ever been Cersei?
So I just wanted a little something. I wanted actually, like, I was surprised. I didn't think about this until I was sitting where you're sitting now. I was surprised Cersei wasn't afraid of him because clearly he got away from Bronn. Like, she sent Bronn to go take him out. And so, like,
maybe
that would have
she
been
forgot
interesting if
about
she
that.
was like, I'm going to do, oh, crap. And he's like, no, I'm not here to do that. Like, they didn't even have, like, they didn't catch up at all, and like a lot has happened. Since they've had the opportunity to do that. And so it was weird. Even like in the span of an episode, it was weird to go from like smirking gate Cersei to like scared, drunk, tired Cersei. It was like, it's been like a couple days. What happened? Mm-hmm. And she's
Do you
just,
think maybe in her mind, Cersei, everything she'd heard, she just never believed Daenerys would go crazy, essentially. That she would never... That was the whole thing. Like,
why kill Missandei? I thought that was like the point.
She dared her.
Like...
Well, she dared her. She's like, if you want this, you're going to have to burn everyone in here. And I feel like, do you think maybe she was just so convinced by everyone, like, that's the one thing she'll absolutely not do. Mm-hmm. So, like, we're going to just keep doing everyone in front of her. We want her to make a mistake, essentially. Like, anger her into making a mistake, and they just miscalculated that she would go, like, thermonuclear on them. Like, push the red button and be like, okay, you dared me, here you go. And
we sent assassins to Essos to do that, to take her out because they were afraid, oh God, another Targaryen, this is not going to work out well.
Well, Robert did, yeah.
So it was like, but that's like when she was there. She was there during all of this, of all of these people freaking out about it.
Well,
and her being like, I'm going to be smarter.
I don't know if Robert was right because I'm fully, like, I was partially on the, let's see how the show does it, and now I'm just like, please, Gurm, finish your books and tell us what happens. Because it just doesn't feel, and I'm not saying, like, it doesn't feel right because I had my own expectation about how the ending should go. That's not what I'm saying. It doesn't feel earned for the characters.
Yeah.
And that's the difference for me. If they'd earned this, if they'd had, and I don't believe that there was foreshadowing in Daenerys burning Marine or any of the other things that she did. I think that they were setting her up character-wise, to be a strong but fearsome leader. And she almost, it was right there in this last episode. They almost had it.
We were earlier. I just told Jones there were so many things in my head about what she could have done in that moment. I was like, this is perfect. Here's her chance to shine, like to prove everybody wrong. Yeah. And I was like, here's the first good twist. That like this, she's gonna do the unpredictable thing. Thank you. Yeah. And then she did the predictable thing, and I was like, no.
Well, the predictable thing per the TV.
Oh no, because I don't mean foreshadowing like they did good foreshadowing happen. It was like it was really clearly in like foreshadowed that that's what they wanted to do and it was going to happen no matter what. And yeah, like
and not only was the foreshadow. So yes, they did put foreshadowing in the show. I'm not going to say that they didn't, but they did it kind of like slapdash to the extent that they did a thing that they've never done, as far as I know, which is they had a audio montage of clips of things that would make Daenerys seem scary, and then they ended it with her brother saying, her brother's like, "You don't want to wake the dragon." Well, Daenerys couldn't be further from her brother. That was the whole point. He was never a dragon.
And that was what
she said
previously on.
He was never a dragon.
And so I'm with you. I don't think the character development, like the show has improved that she earned becoming crazy. Mm-hmm. There were like people have obviously been pointing out examples in the past, but my counter thing was like just the final shot of season 3 where she's like liberated the slaves. She's like being like crowd surfed and stuff, being lifted up as like and being called Misa Mother. Yeah, it's like how happy she is in that moment, and like she understands the plight of innocent people, like that they are not the ones who should ever be harmed. Right. It seemed like one of the most important tenets of her beliefs.
100%.
And she went against that. It was like for no good reason. Yeah. Like they weren't. It wasn't literally like I have to go through them to get to Cersei. I have no other choice. It's like you have a straight beeline for the Red Keep to kill her and end this. Why are you?
And she also said, and she's also like, well, then I'll choose fear. And it's like your dragon's pretty scary. Yeah, like if you go level the keep right now, that's pretty terrifying. Yeah. If you crush the Iron Throne, that's scary. Yeah. You know, the phrase like they're not gonna mess with you. Like the Karstarks, like who are the there was one family. Was it the Karstarks? There's one family specifically that Sansa was like that she's like there's someone that wasn't coming. Someone like wrote them a letter that's like good luck with those skeletons. Oh, we'll be back at our keep. I can't remember. Somebody she went to for help. It was like, hell no, we're not going. Yeah. So like all those houses, they were like, we're going to see how this plays out. That's how it played out, man. And like they will sing those songs, they will write those books, and they will etch that into the walls of King's Landing forever. That the time that Drogon came and just like they're like, it doesn't matter how many defenses you build. They had a whole bunch of boats, all with guns on it, a bunch of towers, all with guns on it. The dragon wasted them all and leveled the keep. Don't mess with this lady. And she's like, yeah, but those scarred kids though. It's like, how is that gonna that to me again, that's not aggression, that's stupidity. Like that's just like, you know, that's just like Looney Tunes. That's just woo, oh my god, a dragon. That's like I get, you know.
Well yeah, that's a real issue because they basically are like, oh, this woman in power, she's actually a crazy bitch, and you know that's why we have to get the man in power. And it's like
Damiani's dropped like 8 F-bombs. I think we're clear with this one. I don't know. Post episode 5.
Jones. It's subject matter here. But, I mean, you might have been spelling it out for a different reason rather than not wanting to say it.
Well,
Dracarys, baby, just let him fly.
It just felt like really. It just feels gross. Feels gross. And I had a dream. Yeah. I had a dream that night that I was revising the show in my mind all night long. I kept rewriting it. I kept trying to like figure out a way for Daenerys to have like done something else better. Like I don't remember what I had the dream about, but it was very frustrating because I couldn't fix it.
I would like to see it.
Do you know,
my dream?
Your version.
You know what's so frustrating to think about this too? The start of last season when Daenerys finally arrived, everyone counseled her against you can't go burn, like can't go attack. that was before even like all the people have been let in. If she'd just actually done her instincts and attacked, like less people, innocent people, died, and she would have wrecked it.
Yeah.
Not only should she have won as well, then she'd have all her dragons alive.
Yeah.
But look how many of the allies would still be alive. Like, man, it's sucks. Like where they end up now is like, well, you really didn't end up in any of a better place by going through all this stuff.
Yeah, and she could have taken the extra armies up to fight the Night King.
Oh yeah.
Although, really, we just needed Arya, I guess, to fight the Night King. And Arya's gonna kill Daenerys. Which is,
I mean, it's gonna be, what's the movie where they're trying to guess who killed the person?
Who killed Mr. Burns?
It'd be any of those, like that, or the game
Clue
made into a movie or
Murder
whatever.
by Death.
It's gonna be like...
Or her dragon's going to eat her. It's
Yeah, like,
going to be one of the
who actually killed Daenerys will be the mystery of the next episode. So many people want to kill her. Who actually did it? That's the plot.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was
Sam!
Or Jon Snow.
Sam
with the dragon glass.
Or Jon Snow is going to sentence her to death and chop off her head, and it'll be just like the first episode of the first season.
You know what?
I know, but
At this point,
but it's derivative, and so I'm going derivative.
I know.
Yeah, that's
It's likely to happen.
That's kind of how I thought this morning when I knew
likely to
I knew we were going
happen.
to talk about it this afternoon, and so I was like, all right, I got to get into show thought. You know, like what's the most predictable way?
At
I'm
this
just going to
point,
stop
I hope-
talking about it since Sunday.
I would wish Jon, with all his honor and stuff, just basically tells Daenerys, leave. Like, go back over to where you were doing good
She's not going to leave.
and leave. That's like your alternative. Either, like, never come back here, go over there. Otherwise, you come back here, we're going to kill you.
Boy, I never once thought about Jon beheading Daenerys, but yeah.
What if? Okay, imagine this. So
Not like this.
So Jon is like, hey,
That's very
Danny.
HBO.
He's like, hey, Danny, can we talk? And she's like, sure, Jon, whatever you want. Just, like, calm before the storm. And her dragon's just chilling. And he's like, Danny, I didn't like how you handled that. And she's like, well, I don't like how you didn't sleep with me. This is per the writers, okay?
Oh,
Okay, yes, this is per the writers. And I didn't like that, so I burned the city. And he's like, yeah, well, I've been bonding with your dragon. And then he whistles, and the dragon's like, hey, I'm your dragon now. And she's like, wait, what? What? Drogon is your dragon? He's like, yeah, that's right, because I'm Jon, the Night's Watch, baddie, Starky, Targaryen dude. And then he's going to all Dracarys on Dany, and she's going to be like, I didn't see it coming.
No, it's Bran. Bran wargs into Drogon.
Oh, yeah, Bran is going to warg
Actually-
into Drogon.
Jon
is
on top of
going to
Bran.
warg into Bran.
But, like, not in a joke, but a serious thing. This actually could happen.
Yeah.
Your idea, I think, is right. She tries to kill Jon because, like, she starts getting angry at everyone. Like, he tries to confront her, and she says Dracarys, but the dragon won't do it.
Right.
Because it does,
it's all like,
react to him more.
Yeah.
So, without, the
Yeah.
all the extra fan fiction in there from the writers.
Do you like
that? Could, because during a long night, Amanda, I thought that's how it was going to end when it got to that point where it's like very near something's got to happen. I thought he was going to do like a last charge to try and get to Bran and run through the undead dragon's fire and not get burned by it because he is also a dragon. I was like, oh, here we go. That's why he was revived. He's the only other person besides Daenerys who could run through dragon fire. Makes sense. Like, he was revived, and that didn't happen.
No.
So maybe now it's like this is why he was revived. Because she could burn anyone with her dragon now, except for him. He's the only one who could stand up to her and live.
Right. Yeah.
I hope that's not it, though.
No.
But that's probably
Well,
gonna
it's a
be
song of
it.
ice and fire. You know what I mean? Like,
And yes, Jon's hand did get burned. He did.
But he's been brought back now. Has he been burned post being brought back from the dead?
I don't know. I don't think that they actually can't be burnt. I think that maybe Dany was in the middle of doing a spell when she didn't get burnt that one time. But in the books, her hair comes off.
It's just their skin that doesn't, and their skin gets like darkened, right? By like it's like charred, but like they're not actually damaged. I thought in the book.
Oh, I don't remember that. I mean,
Maybe I'm conflating the imagery of her walking out where she has like kind of like dirt
Ash
on
and
her,
stuff.
ash and stuff. Yeah, sorry.
yeah,
not dirt.
in the book it sounded like she just got really super close to the fire.
Yeah, maybe they're not immune to all types of heat. Like maybe dragon fire is too hot.
Literally in fire.
Yeah.
oh, she burned down the other place
she
too.
burned down that other place.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm just waiting for when the Mountain is like, he recovers from his fall.
Yeah, he's not dead.
No, he's just like, I'm a skeleton now. Yeah.
He goes and resummons the Night King, who will reappear, and like you will have your dreams come true, chat.
No, but meanwhile, Sansa and Asha Greyjoy are gonna get together and they're gonna ride down the coast and.
Yeah, isn't Yara still loyal to Daenerys though? I don't think she's gonna even care about what she did at King's Landing.
Probably not.
Because Ironborn stuff. It's like, Iron Price. They all needed the pay. Yeah. Like, I wonder if they're. We probably won't see Yara again, except for like an epilogue thing. Like, I'm in the Iron Islands. Yeah. Here's Theon's grave.
Yeah. The other thing that I have a couple other things that I have issue with on the show. Oh, good. I thought I had my dress on backwards for a second. This is not an issue with the show. It's just an issue with me. But one of the things that they've set up now is that she's got the Dothraki and the Unsullied on her side.
Yes.
And so they've made it a little racially charged, which I think is like an unfortunate thing that they've probably done accidentally.
We hope accidentally.
And that they're the bad guys, and that's really.
We'll talk about predictable. It's just like Westeros versus Essos, basically. So you're like, okay. Like,
hi, Grey Worm's the first to throw something to restart the fight again. It's like, oh, okay, we're gonna go there. Oh, it's the Dothraki doing their usual thing of like, pillaging and alluding to like raping people. It's like, okay. What about everyone else? It's like, that's all you get to show? It's like, okay.
And it was interesting in Winterfell when they all kind of found a way to get together and fight a common cause. And then, when you're just kind of setting up that, like, no, it's just going to be these people that they were always traditionally afraid of. You have to think about also, like, not mirroring our world in terms of race, but, like, these people in Westeros growing up, fearing the Unsullied, fearing the Dothraki, hearing that, it's true, the stories of the screaming... What do they call them?
The Screamers, Dothraki Screamers.
The Dothraki Screamers. Like, it's all true. And so it's just like, we have to fear them. There's no way. No peace.
The thing was, I always thought, because they were serving Daenerys, they'd see what Daenerys does. And, like, her rule is, like, you do not rape anymore. You do not hurt innocent people. Like, you will fight, like, and do what I say, but you'll fight with honor, and you will, like, respect, like, civilian life. And they just completely threw that out the window. I don't know if maybe like they were sensing her or something, like, oh, she's also going crazy, so we're going crazy.
They just followed Grey Worm's lead and he lost it. Like,
well, I mean, he obviously he did, but like that means just keep fighting the soldiers. Don't like, why would you go? They start going after innocent people too. Right. I'm like, what? What's going on here? I was like, that's what I was saying. Like, does Daenerys have psychic powers? And then she told all of them, like, go kill all the innocents too. Like, what? Why? They would just keep fighting the Cersei's the Lannister forces and any remaining Golden Company and any like Kingsguard or whatever, like Queensguard, I guess. Any of those forces were loyal to Cersei still, and still not fight any civilians. Like, why would you go after civilians? Like, it's counter to everything you've done. Yeah. And it was out of character, and yes, the imagery was, you could argue, like, racially charged just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and my friend Eliza had a really interesting point about, like, the fact that they had a scene where apparently Missandei, the only thing she kept was her slave collar, and how that is also very, like, minimizing of the character, and just, again, it showed an inability to create a more dimensional character here. And so, I have a lot of disappointments on a lot of levels. I don't know if you've already talked about, like, the critique about the people that are disappointed, that people are, like, over all of us being disappointed.
I kind of want to conclude with that. Yeah, I think that's interesting, too. Okay. That's, like, a whole nother ball of wax.
But, like, I really do feel like there's a lot that we've been let down with around, near.
And I think... Yeah, Amanda, it goes back to what you said so well. And I've seen a lot of other people saying that it's people who are upset aren't upset in that what we're actually seeing unfold is that it wasn't earned, as you said.
Yeah.
And prior to you arriving here, one of the points we're making is that this whole season, even last season, it's just been rushed.
Yeah.
Like, it's clear that the writers didn't put in the same effort that they had put in previous seasons, at least the top tier seasons. It's also a byproduct of when a show runs on too long.
Yeah.
But this time it was like they had great source material to go off of. They ran out of it, and it's like, oh well, we just people just want to see the exciting stuff. Let's just skip over all point B, A. We're going to go A to Z immediately. We're just get everything in between.
I retweeted a really interesting writer's perspective about plotters versus pantsers, and basically that this season they decided on what plot points they had to hit and by when, and so they wrote to the plot points, whereas Gurm always writes, well, what would my character do next? What would my character do next? And they didn't allow for the natural evolution of the characters to happen. They just got them to the next point, and that abrupt shift in how we've been watching the show, that I think is what's so super jarring about it.
I agree.
Yeah.
This is the problem when you like find out stuff, when you know the future and stuff. It's like, I just want to like let's get to the stuff. Everything else doesn't matter. It's like, no, that's what makes it good storytelling. Like, you gotta do world building, you gotta do character development, and as great of a job as they did through the majority of the earlier seasons, that there was not enough to carry everything to where it ended up. There was definitely gaps there that did not feel filled in properly, and you have to point to the writers at this point. And I definitely can see why so many people now want the books more than ever, because it's clear that even if the ending isn't as satisfying in terms of what the actual ending is, at least Gurm will give you more of what you've expected and what you're used to, I feel like.
I did an experiment mentally, because I thought, what if I had watched season 1 having not already read the books? So I got to the Ned Stark execution and was hit with that surprise. Would it have felt the same as Daenerys burning down the city? And it's almost impossible for me to know, but I really don't think so, because what they set up with Ned is this man who has a moral point of view that he doesn't waver from, and that belief in that code of conduct, it doesn't work in King's Landing. And so he finds that he's up against, you finally find out this threat, and so he stays in his character, and Joffrey shows us his character, and we learn very clearly about those two characters. Joffrey was set up to be much worse on the show even than in the books, but he was set up to be this power hungry, sadistic little jerk, and when he was given the ability to execute someone, he did. And Ned was uncompromising in his morals, and because he was uncompromising, he got on the wrong side of the wrong people, which is, again, sorry, this is a tangent, but partially my problem with the Jon Snow narrative is that if they're going back to but Ned was always right, so Jon is the right one, I feel like then as a whole story we haven't learned anything. And not that you should compromise your morals, but it just lacks nuance. So anyway, the point I'm making is could the Daenerys thing and the Ned Stark thing be a similar kind of a twist, or the Red Wedding? Would it have caught me quite so off my guard?
I can answer this from my perspective.
Okay, please.
Because I did not know anything of the books when I watched season 1.
Okay, tell me.
So I watched season 1 without knowing anything about Game of Thrones, and it was very shocking. But it felt like we did get to this point. Like, this absolutely makes sense this happened. I mean, my expectation was, okay, he's gonna go to the wall, but they're probably still gonna try and kill him along the way or something, because that's the appropriate way to do it. You make it look like an accident. And when they were like, oh, like, even Cersei's reaction at that moment, like, wait, Joffrey, what are you doing? It's like Joffrey is like a sadistic little asshole. Like, he is. Like, he does not care. He'll do whatever he wants. And like, that was his arc. And then they supported that even further through season 2, season 3, like onward. I was like, I didn't start reading the books until right around I read towards the end of season 3.
Oh, okay.
So through the Red Wedding, essentially, is when I started reading the books. Everything through there was like in the show was great. Like it felt like the writers were like really proving that like this is where it should be. This is where we're going. These characters, their logic flows well. They have good development. The twists are definitely like something that makes sense, and they're definitely earned, and they have great payoffs. And I love it. Like it's like you root for someone, and then like they might succeed, but it's very likely they're gonna fail. But they always they always sowed the seeds of like someone else was gonna pick up the torch and carry it after someone else falls. And then like I love this. Like who's gonna be the one who finally picks up the torch and ends it all? You know, there's gonna be someone, or they're gonna ultimately lose. And that feeling died around season 5. It started to get a little shaky. I mean, the Jon Snow twist was like, oh shit. I was
when
like,
he died or when he came back?
When he died.
Oh,
season 6
well,
is
because
like,
that's in the books though. But
when I read that.
But even in the books, I was like, oh, oh no, it was very upsetting. But so in the books, I'm still hoping he becomes a wolf. But you know,
yeah. Well, like you believe that he would get brought back. It's like it has to, right? He has to come back, like all this stuff. But with everything they've done so far, both in the show and the books, they were both equally like well justified. There was enough doubt that like they might actually do it. They might actually not bring him back. It's possible. Like we're expecting it, but like it will not be unearned if he doesn't come back. And they like it's like someone else's like I trust them to pick someone else who we've seen who's going to become the next person to be root for and stuff like that. And the last 2 seasons it's just been like I don't feel that anymore. It's like I think we're just going to go to chaos. We're just going to evolve into like every character is just going to like fall apart, and it's just going to end with like just destroying everything and stuff. I'm gonna guess like none of these prophecies, none of these predictions, none of it's gonna come true. It's all gonna be like this most simple thing. And what stinks, because do you remember season 6, Cersei, the sequence of Cersei blowing up the Sept and stuff, like that was not in the books, right?
Definitely not.
That gave me so much faith. I was like, okay, maybe they've now figured it out. Like maybe 5 was
Brandon hated that.
Oh, you hated that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I loved it, and I was like, maybe they just needed a little bit more time to figure out how to like develop and flesh out and finalize the stuff they need to come up with their own with just knowing those bullet points. I had so much faith at that point. Season 7 and season 8 all went out the window. It's just like, what have they done? They failed. They failed me.
They did.
You're just in time, Amanda. We haven't talked at all. We talked about Clegane Bowl.
That was the best part of the episode.
It was fun. I mentioned that he's not like saving anyone, or there's no real point to it beyond just I don't like you. I'm gonna make sure you go down.
It honestly doesn't make sense that he goes back for him. It really doesn't. There's no motivation for the Hound to go back. He left. He left King's Landing. He had an arc. He went on with his life. So the fact that he was like, you know what? Actually, now I'm going to go back and kill my brother. It's like, since when did you want to do that?
Do you think maybe his real motive was to go because he knew Arya was going to go in? Like he already knew Arya was going there, and like when they ride off together, because he's the first one who says, I believe he's the first one saying, I'm going to King's Landing, and she's like, I'm going too.
But they meet on the road, so they don't think they knew that the other one was going.
No, they meet just outside of Winterfell, right?
Yeah, but they didn't like plan it. They didn't know that.
Right. I don't think they planned it. I think the Sandor knew what she was going to do.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to go after her. And like
he says it to the guard when they're walking in. He's like, that's why she's here. She's going to go kill Cersei.
Yeah,
she's
going
to end
the war. His arc was
war.
to save her. And like that at that point, he's like, he sees what she's become. And he knows what that can lead to, and he doesn't want to change her in the fact that like don't be like a killer and stuff. Like she is who she is.
It's way too late.
But I think he was trying to one message was you can still kill people and stuff, but like don't let revenge consume you though.
Yeah, but it already did. That's the thing. Like Arya's already done that. She's already killed all of the Freys. She's already killed she's got a list and she's been checking people off methodically. She's already
she's into it.
Her life is already consumed by revenge more than his life is, and really she should have been the one to be like, you know what, the Hound? Don't let this consume your life. Grab him by the back of the neck. Hey, little Hound. Which is what he did to her. I was like, he was like, Arya, don't just give it up. And she's like, yeah, okay. Like it could have easily been the other thing because like she's already a super revenger. That's a movie franchise coming out from Marvel.
I feel
it's the
Thor Ragnarok sequel, The Revengers.
There's still scenes and moments where she was shaky, like she was built to be a badass. Yeah. There's still moments where she showed like she's still technically young. That I don't want to be like ageist here, but like she's seen a lot of the world. She's done a lot of things. But even when you're young, there's still some things that like don't click as well as when like you've like gone through it. Like I've been killing people for 30 years, or you've been doing it for like 5 years. It's like, let me tell you where this really does lead. You think you know, but you haven't gone fully off the deep end. And like Sandor basically was saying, like, look, I've done this for so long. Like you are consumed right now. I agree with that. She is consumed by it, but like he's one of the only people she might listen to at this point. Like I cannot, I'm not bullshitting you. I've been doing this for so long. What you've been doing, this is your fate. Like you like.
But why didn't he say that on the road?
Right.
Because I think he needed.
No, because it's more dramatic.
Yeah, it's for dramatic
effect. He knew the dragon was going to be burning King's Landing.
He back in season 3, or wherever, where he's escorting her. It's like, hey, you see what I am and stuff. Like, don't go
across the narrow sea to
wasn't
go
the
learn
best
the
timing.
art of killing.
I'll give you that. It was not the best timing.
And it was perfect timing for the writers because they literally said, "Oh, we wanted a character that you would care about to be in King's Landing and have to try to get out." Because they said, because if you just saw a bunch of extras, you probably wouldn't care about them. And I'm like, what's wrong with you people? We're watching humans getting burned alive by a dragon. I cared about every single one of those extras. I didn't need Arya in that throng to care. I cared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole Children of Men sequence was just like, every 5 seconds, Arya gets blown up by something. Did she die this time?
No.
She's okay. Running, boom! I was like, oh, wait, are you dead now? Oh, no, you're cool. Just all these other people died.
What do you think about the theory that Bran warged the horse? That it's a horse warg Bran?
I saw like 20 theories about that horse.
It's
like Ned reincarnated.
At this point, I don't think Bran's
Ned's spirit.
I don't think Bran interferes anymore with stuff. The Jon Snow thing was knowledge and stuff that he felt like he should know for some reason. But I don't think he meddles in affairs anymore. I think he's just sitting back and just like, whatever.
I mean, clearly, he wasn't like, hey,
he doesn't care.
John, your girlfriend's going to lose it.
He's living in a mind not bound by time anymore. He said, like, to Tyrion, I'm living in the past most of the time. Like, it's obviously getting harder and harder for him to, like, focus on the current now. Because he's all over the place. Mm-hmm. So
the horse is Jacob.
The horse is Jacob.
I don't know if I buy that, but it is like, yeah, I don't know if it has a greater meaning other than just the symbol of like, death, the horseman essentially. It's like, oh, okay,
right,
pretty obvious. And with how good the writers are right now, I was like, I don't expect that to be anything super.
No, I know, yeah, Shadowfax.
I just again like
Shadowfax. It's a crossover. Yeah, we're leading to that.
Some people in chat were mentioning that like, I think that scene with the Hound and Arya came from the Hound being, like the setup for the beginning of the scene is, wait a minute, it's one thing for us to go in and for you to kill her and us to put ourselves in harm's way, have to fight through soldiers and stuff. Like, this building is physically going to collapse. So, like, you just need to get out of this building. But I still, there wasn't any sort of build-up from the Hound to, like, even suggest that he was maybe going to think to do that. Yeah. Like, not the moments that happened in Winterfell, not the Battle of Winterfell, like when Beric Dondarrion like points her out, nothing in like the aftermath of that, nothing when they started out on the road, nothing when they got to King's Landing. He was like super cocky, she's gonna kill her, and then they like finally get into the keep, and the Hound's like, wait. And I was like, where the hell is this coming from? Like,
and then she's off.
It's just so random and out of nowhere.
Sandor.
Yeah, I think there's a path from you shouldn't do this to thank you, Clegane, but it was 20 seconds. I mean, it was just so fast.
I mean, honestly, thinking about it more, thank you for pointing it out, because more I think about it, the scene in episode 2 where she goes, I'm not going to spend my last night with you two old shits, was kind of her way in Sandor Clegane language of like, I love you. This might be the last time we see each other, but like, that would have been like the perfect ending for them to, whatever. It was nice that we got to see them reunite, and like, maybe we could have a little bit of a taste of them traveling together, and it was just like, yeah. I mean, I guess it made for a good cinematic and like emotional scene without like, it bypassed some things. I just like that scene of like, hey, like, there's really no redemption arc for. I've done my redemption arc as the Hound and stuff. Like, I've done all I can do at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There really is nothing else for me to do. And like, his brother, like, if left alive, like, he is a super threat. Like, he's strong as hell. Can't be technically killed by normal means. Like, he is going there to kill him for like revenge.
Yeah,
and also,
but I
like,
don't think he even knows that until he gets
oh,
there.
he doesn't. But like, it serves a good purpose. You were saying like
Right.
saving. I think it wasn't his reason to go there, but ultimately does. But like, I think he just cared so much for Arya. He's like, listen, like, he said, I came back for you, right? I watched over you. It's like his final act of like, listen, I don't want you to die on my watch.
Yeah.
Can you just get out of here? So like, I think he would have been okay going to face his brother with her still worrying about her. I think her going away is like, I don't have to worry about Arya. She's safe. She's out of here. I can go in there and like not have to like care about any other effing thing.
Yeah, I guess though that his personal arc shouldn't be at the expense of the other person's arc. Like she is her own adult making her own decisions, and so at this point everything in her story has led up to her doing this last act. It all fits together. And I mean, it would be like if Brandon went to Disneyland and then at the gate I turned back to Brandon and I was like, you know what, Brandon, Indiana Jones is closed today, so you might not want to go into the park. And Brandon goes, thanks,
you,
Amanda, and leaves. You just wouldn't buy it.
And nothing happened. The room was shaky. That was it. You know what I mean? They walked across the map, and the room was like rumble, rumble, rumble. And Hound was like, "Wait a minute, circumstances have changed. Like nothing changed. Daenerys wants to kill Cersei. Cersei's in the castle. You want to kill Cersei. Cersei's in the castle. Jon and everybody—they're all gonna bum rush this place.
Yeah,
like,
there's so many different people that wanted to kill.
you didn't
Cersei.
see this like the kind of gradually
only the
fear
castle
building
got
in the
to kill
Hound.
Cersei.
It was
Yeah.
he just stopped and swiveled super hard.
Yeah,
It was so weird.
It's good to think about this. 'Cause even like, how much better would it have been if like Arya, like let's say that scene between Arya and Sandor didn't happen. They said like, all right, let's go our separate ways to fulfill our things, like respecting her choice. Like, you're doing this, like I'm not gonna try and talk you out of this. Let's go. And she bumps into Jaime, and Jaime's like, listen, I know you want to kill her. Let me do this. Like, saving his arc. Like, he did go there to kill her. Like, it's not. We're getting a reward for following Jaime's arc finally, and like him being the one to talk her down. Like, listen, I know you want this a lot, and this is your decision, but like, please, like, this is like my purpose is to end her. Like, it needs to be
That
me.
would be a better idea.
Yeah, and that's why she goes, okay, Jaime, or whatever. And then that's why she leaves or whatever. And then she's like, all right, well, I got to get the hell out of here now.
Yeah.
And that would have made more sense.
And it would also have put some credence behind Brienne vouching for Jaime in the previous episode or whenever it was, because then it would be like, okay, Brienne trusted you, therefore I'll trust you. That would have made it work. I want to talk about two things before I forget that I thought were good. Qyburn's death. Loved it.
Yep, that's what Jones.
That's my
That's
opener.
what Brandon said is one of the first
I was
things.
like, yes, killed by his own creation. That works. Because remember, Qyburn is a sick fuck.
Oh, yeah. God,
Just let's
should have
not
left
forget.
him to die in Harrenhal.
And then for realsies. And then the really heartfelt scene between Tyrion and Jaime in the tent.
That was I
Yeah.
thought I had two, but that was my third.
That
My
was-
third favorite
Oh,
moment.
and
That was such a good
What
Just
was-
a beautiful moment. The gold company being like, is she gonna come from over there? And
Yeah.
she just like snuck in from behind
Oh,
them.
can I talk about another thing that I was
was
like,
so
what are
graphic.
they?
Yeah.
What? Okay, so Euron.
Here we go.
Okay, he gets up on the beach and he's all like, Jaime,
Here we go.
let's fight, and they fight, and then Jaime's walking away and Euron's like dying, and he's like, ha, Jaime, I got you, and I'm like, you're gonna say Cersei's having my baby, right? You're just gonna like say Cersei, like that's been written into the plot that Cersei said it's your baby, and they don't do it. Why didn't they do it?
Because then he'd be mad at Cersei when he gets back to Cersei, and they got a hug and snug, and
It was like right there. Why
I know.
didn't
No, of
they
course.
Do it? Like, why even have the baby subplot at all? If you're gonna tell Jaime it's his baby and Euron it's basic soap opera. the daddies had to find out that mommy was lying about who the baby daddy was.
So Euron his final line could have
Could've
been,
been,
I'm not the father.
No, it could have been.
Yeah.
It could have been like, I'm having.
Euron Greyjoy, you
Cersei's
are
having
not
my
the father.
Kid. And then Jaime would have been like, craw, and like killed him even more. And then he would have gone in and be like, hey, come with me, Cersei, I'm gonna save you. And then,
Bloodworth, why did he want
Yes.
Euron to fight Jaime in the first place?
The first time they met, they wanted to fight each other. Like,
Yeah, no, they-
that's just who Euron was. Like, it was a rival.
That is sadly
Yeah.
the deepest part of Euron's character, really.
Yeah, he's just he's like
He's not.
pretty
Yeah.
one-dimensional.
Not a whole
he
lot
wanted-
going
he
on there
wanted
more
to,
than that.
Pay the iron price and get that golden hand all for himself.
You like
Yeah.
that? He's like, I get to be the one who killed Jaime Lannister. It's like
Who cares?
at this point, like, who's actually gonna know?
No one will know.
No one's gonna know. It's like cool.
Yeah.
That was
Cool story, bro.
that was the dumbest thing. Before I forget too.
Yes.
You're the thing about like we were talking about with Arya a second ago.
Yeah.
The final fulfillment of that in the next episode would have been Arya going back to Brienne and telling her how Jaime died,
Right.
like killing Cersei. Like
Right.
that's why he went back.
Right.
And then she would like it would be like a full circle.
And so
for
we've
her.
already
Yeah.
written better
Yeah, we
plot
have.
lines
Oh,
here than the writers, and we're just sitting around.
So you know that the writers have to actually be around to write bad stuff. They were obviously checked out, ready for Star Wars, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're already working on Star Wars.
Yeah, they're working on Star Wars.
They're like Game of Thrones is yesterday's news. We gotta
Right.
make a new trilogy.
They shot
baby.
these like last year.
We gotta make a new Star Wars trilogy, baby.
The fact that they're already coming out with a new Star Wars trilogy when they haven't.
Boy,
finished this one
after
is
talking
like-
about all this stuff, I'm not so mad now about Varys dying because I mean, like in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
especially if some of those
I'm
letters
glad
got
you didn't
out,
see it.
some of those ravens got
Listen,
sent.
Yeah, people are trying to say like, how is your dad dumb? Oh, this master whispers, the spider lets himself get caught. Like, I think at that point he was literally like, he needs to stand up. He was taking a stand. He was putting
Right.
like, put up or shut up with my. Everyone was. There were people doubting his "I serve the realms," whole shtick, and they were like, no. In the end, he was like, listen, I'm ready to die for this, and he was like Tyrion, like I'm trying to, like I'm telling you, I hope I'm wrong, friend.
God, that should have
But,
been right on
like,
the wall.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
That she was gonna go nuts.
and it's like now, like that line now, like Tyrion's turning on her immediately. Even
yeah.
he's like, Varys was right. I'm an idiot. Like he goes, like I freed Jaime. Like this is it. Like I've done it. But like Varys' character at the end was like, it was perfect for me.
Yeah, although I'm the master of spiders, it's time to have a loud conversation about my treason with the queen's two closest
Oh,
advisors.
That's
It's
what
true.
dramatic effect. I was like, come on.
But it's true though. I do want to see how it plays out with that little bird that he was talking to in the first scene, where he goes.
You don't remember her name?
the girl.
Yes.
She has a name.
She does.
I
She
don't know.
does?
We were watching it with bad speakers.
Martha. Sorry, continue. Martha
didn't-
from the kitchens.
Oh, there's Martha. Well,
I know
anyway.
I know why you know the name now, Jones, but I didn't remember the name either. I was like, what is this a recurring character?
I mean,
just
I know it's so
forgot about?
clearly
What?
just a name that they pulled out of nowhere, but
Martha.
just at the time.
But anyway, he says to her,
Continue.
the greater the risk, the greater the reward.
Yeah.
So, is that gonna be something?
Yeah, see.
Like, I kept thinking that she was gonna be. I couldn't remember exactly what she looked like, so I thought maybe she was the little girl with the horse, and that she was gonna go in and assassinate and be like Arya or Jaken or something. Like, I was like, and then I was like, no, that's no. But I still feel like there's something with her. She's gonna, maybe she went out and flew the ravens or whatever. Maybe she's the one that,
Okay.
or maybe it's nothing.
Maybe Yara Greyjoy comes back and Daenerys thinks Yara's on her side because they told her that, but Yara actually got the note from Varys and shows up to stop her, and so it kills Drogon or wounds the troops or something that she's like, oops, like maybe like takes out the Dothraki because they can't swim or
People
something.
then complain, why did Yara betray
Here's
her
the
after
good
being
one.
so in
She
her
was
head?
not eating, and Varys was trying to poison Daenerys. I don't know. It's an interesting theory.
I see. Yep.
Danny would
that could
eat.
definitely be it.
And they would say, try to.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you can interpret that scene as, oh, he cares about her well-being, or he's trying to like get rid of her.
Yeah.
Because he knows what she's about. That's his belief is she's going to burn the city, kill millions of innocent people. So if I'm going to go out in this plot to usurp her,
Yeah.
I better kill her too. Like, they'll probably still kill me, but, like, as long as she dies, they won't attack King's Landing anymore, at least in the manner they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I meant. Like,
yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah, like, that's...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Shenmue
that
tree.
helps. I
Slam
like
dunk.
that.
Interesting,
Yeah, good point.
interesting idea.
But don't worry, I bet there was a behind the thrones thing where they said, like, in that scene, it was like he really cared for her well-being and stuff, you know, wanted to make sure she ate food to regain her strength, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The
Well, it
writers
seemed-
obviously, like...
his
not
execution
that
seemed like a shocker. It seemed like whoa, this episode, so surprising. And then by the end of it was like, that was pretty tame compared to a lot of the other crazy things that happened.
I guess I don't like. I guess he's thinking if he tried to flee, he'd be caught and killed anyway. So rather than wasting time trying to run, send as many ravens with his little birds as he could to spread the message, just to do his most damage. I think he was trying to do the most damage he could, because even Jon didn't side with him at that point. Like,
I think
he had nowhere to run. I feel like he had run out of options.
I think Jon and Tyrion are going to meet up at the beginning of the next episode, and Jon's going to be like, hoda, 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 and Tyrion's going to be like, whoosh, snap out of it, you know what we need to do. And Arya's going to ride in on the white horse and be like, I'll help. And then more people than they're expecting are going to show up and be like, we just heard about Winterfell, we heard what you did, sorry we weren't there, we just found out about this, sorry we weren't backing you before this, but obviously this is something like, my cousin was in King's Landing, there's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah.
Remember
I
King's
think we're
Landing.
going to get a little Samwell Tarly and his force
Oh yeah,
riding in as well.
he's still in Winterfell, isn't he?
No,
right? Or did he
I
leave?
think he headed back to his keep.
Okay. I
And
forgot.
and
I
we're
forgot.
also going to have a little Baratheon Gendry riding in.
Also, you know what? We're just
Oh, yeah, he's a
we're just
lord.
assuming John's gonna be able to if he wants to join the side that fights against Daenerys, he's seen the horrors. What if it gets out that they were a part of the invading force? What if word gets out that they were part of slaughtering all the millions of innocent people too?
I think that's very known. It is known.
Yeah, do you think do you think any of those people will be able to come out of this unscathed? We're assuming they'll be able to rally other people to stop them. Do you think anyone's going to point fingers at them? Well, you allowed this to happen. It's
Right.
why should we even trust you now?
I think if they had time, they would do that, but I don't
Yeah.
think that they'll do
There
it.
you go.
Yes.
Yeah, Amanda solved
totally-
it. Perfect, Amanda.
Yeah, I think
There you go.
next,
100%.
I think next episode is literally going to be Daenerys is all going to be posturing and we have done it. We have conquered. This is my throne. And then the other army's going to come in and be no. And she's going to be but dragon burn.
No.
But dragon burn. And then Jon's going to be no, this is my dragon. And then Jon's going to be dragon, you burn Dany. And Dany's going to be I can't be burnt. I run away back across the ocean and turn into a mermaid. The end.
Oh, yeah.
And Varys is going to be I'm a merman. Hello.
That.
The
He was
end.
waiting for under there.
He was
and
waiting
he's
for it, yeah.
it's the end of What Lies Beneath.
Yeah.
Gets pulled. He pulls her down.
or the Shape of Water.
Oh, yeah, she-
Shape of Water. Yeah. Do we have questions? Should we do questions?
So I actually didn't post any
Oh,
questions. I had a feeling we were going to be talking about this for a
Yeah.
long time
Yeah.
this episode. And
we can definitely take
but
questions
yeah,
in
in chat, if you have something in chat that we didn't cover, because it's way easier for us now that you've heard what we said. If there's something we didn't talk about, we'll
she
take
did destroy
one or
the
two
Red
questions.
Keep, but I'm sure that I bet you that the throne room is miraculously intact and just because there was some stuff where they were that scene when she had the vision quest, and she was walking through the throne room and it was covered in snow, but they were maybe it wasn't snow, it was ash. So I think they're gonna do that. I think that's.
I am definitely at this point after this episode way less excited about the ending
Yeah.
than I was at the beginning of the season. I don't think the Night King is coming back.
I am going.
I loved it.
into
The Golden King Company was disappointed. Screw you guys.
Yeah.
Sell swords. Get out of here.
Can't
There's
buy
no
me
there's no development
swords.
with the Golden Company is
No, that's a waste.
They're
Bravos
whatever.
A
Bravos
red
is going to be
herring.
excuse me? I believe we're owed for
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, Daenerys. they put your thumbprint here, Dany, to claim the throne and all that's in there. It's if anyone
And
watches
she's
Cowboy
"There's
Bebop,
so much
Yeah.
Faye Valentine's
Yeah.
origin story, when just put your thumb here. What are all these red lines? Looks like you've inherited their debt.
Yeah, so much debt. I think that the throne is still going to be intact because of you know.
It was in the prophecy, and they.
Do you think this season has killed the rewatchability of the series? I don't think so.
No, because we were watching season 2, and it was
Certainly
really
after,
good.
if we do get a book 6 and 7, after I'm done reading book 7, I'm going straight back to the beginning of the show and being like, did they know any of this weird stuff that wasn't in the show? Is that buried anywhere in here?
I feel.
Is Sir Pound still alive?
No.
No.
What do you think about Jaime and his "I've never cared for innocence" dialogue?
Ooh.
Yeah, I just think all of that was plotting. It was this them being like, we have to get him to this point. We have to make you start not liking him again to get him back into evil Jaime mode, so that evil Jaime and evil Cersei can whoopsie go the wrong take the wrong left.
Iron Bank subplot was resolved. She sent when Cersei sacked Highgarden. That gold did get the gold. There's a line to confirm the gold got back to King's Landing before the dragons attacked the convoy, and they repaid the Iron Bank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they took out. They were said, "Well, we're so disappointed that like you've paid it off. We were getting so used to your interest payments. Like, well, let's make a new deal. I need all these forces." So that is unresolved, if that's what you mean. But the original huge debt they had, they did solve that.
There was a question about. Did the Lord of Light bring Arya back?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that the whole Lord of Light thing is over.
Somebody to do it too.
I think that was
the
just
spontaneous revival seems a little.
I think
too much.
I think that plot line died when Melisandre died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they just really wanted to hit home that Arya's mad at Daenerys, which is like, got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Bronn could still be important. Bronn might be the one who kills Daenerys because he needs Tyrion alive to pay that debt.
100%.
Yeah. She's like, he like, Daenerys about to kill him, and he just strolls up and shoots her.
With his crossbow.
And he's like, Bronn, he goes, you owe me Highgarden.
Yeah. And then they kind of like look at each other like, oh, you, and then freeze frame. End of show.
I hope it's really just Bronn sitting in a tavern at the end of the show, and he just like
Bronn Hopeye.
It's just them talking and like, and they just say something effect like,
"Yeah,
this shit sucked."
It's
like,
and that's how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think Grey Worm is gonna die with Daenerys? I think Grey Worm is gonna die next episode. I don't know exactly.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I know. That's a
part of me thinks he'll get out of it.
You think?
I think if Dany dies, I don't think he will die. I think he will end up. Here's my hopefully somewhat bittersweet ending for him: is he does travel to the Southern Islands and gets to like properly do a memorial.
That would be nice.
And then he gets to live out the life that he hoped they'd live there instead. Maybe he can have a happy ending, but it probably won't. I said there's no happy endings.
I think the likelihood of there's a thing about like what if Dany dies. I think the likelihood of Dany living through the next episode is nil.
It's like 10% or less, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really really difficult.
Yeah.
Will Dany earn a new nickname after all this happened?
Probably like the Keep Burner or something.
Yeah, they're all gonna have like names.
Slayer of Innocence.
Yeah. Who?
The Slayer of Innocence.
Just
innocent. Oh, I thought you meant innocence, not innocence.
No.
I heard. I was like, yeah, she did slay my innocence. My innocence in London with the.
Do you think
the book series?
Do you think the dragon will survive? The last dragon will survive the end of the next episode?
No. I think her and Daenerys I think him and Daenerys are intertwined.
Yeah.
I think they both live or they both die.
Do you think? Here's some characters we haven't seen that like. Do you think we'll see Daario Naharis? Still over? He's supposed to be watching over the now freed slave cities.
Right. No.
Do you think we'll see him?
No. That would be random.
Jock and Hagar.
No.
Okay. Do you think we'll see Tormund one more time?
No, I say goodbye.
No, that one's over.
We might
not see Ghost.
We might not see Sam. We might not see Sansa. We might not see any of these.
Okay,
they put all the CG budget into the dragons.
I think we will. I think we'll get a big 10-minute. I'm still hoping. Maybe that's like the last thing that I'm still hoping for is some like 10-minute wrap up of the whole thing. Because
where are they now?
Because one of the, I'm still holding to this. I'm sorry, this is bad. This is not healthy for me to hold on to this. But like, it's happened so much in the books and in the. We'll just talk about the show. It's happened on the show too, where they talk about. That legend. Oh, that story. That song that you're singing. I remember when that happened. I've met you. I've heard stories about you. There's just like a lot of... It's the song of Ice and Fire. A lot of people sing. A lot of people tell stories. And it's always like, oh, this great story of you broke the sword on the trident with his hammer, and he killed the king, the Mad King, got his King Killer moniker, and like all these things worked out really gloriously, so we could write songs, we could sit around a campfire, we could tell it to our troops, or we could sing songs about it. But then as you go along through the story, you learn like, well, Jon is a Targaryen actually, and actually like some of that stuff was kind of happened that way, but it was glorified in a sense. So I always thought that we were going to see the version of that from this story that we know very intimately, that we were going to see either the beginning of writings of, or do a time jump and see somebody talking about these events in a way that you're like, yeah, it's a very simple way of addressing what happened. Yes, Jon Snow did stand up and kill the Mad Queen from the Far East, but they were in love, but all right. like there wasn't not enough people are left alive, or it's just not the way they want to tell that story. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of see like, here's how this stuff kind of keeps happening because people tell the stories that they want to tell.
Oh, gross.
What? Just, I'm being gross or?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. That's I at this point I should probably let that go, but I just think. Just case in point of Sam coming back. Just seeing Sam put in some position of having a respect at that school or in among elders as being like, oh, Sam, did you hear this crazy stuff happen? And he's like, I was there. I did all these things. And so I should write a book about it. I should tell other people.
Do you think Jon Snow is going to be alive by the end of all of this?
I didn't think so originally, but now I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like they might just put him on the throne.
I think Jon might be on the throne. Because there's just nobody else.
The King in the North. Will we hear the King in the North one more time?
Yeah, but the King in the South.
The King in the North. The King on the throne.
Yeah. Bran time travels. We just seen it.
Actually, I mean, that's not a joke. I would not put it past them to have a montage of we go through Bran's eyes and see just characters in different scenes, and they don't clarify. They don't definitively answer when those scenes are taking place. So you're talking about like, oh, we get to go see a who's who where they are now. We just don't know when that is. We'll just see scenes with like, here's Sam, but we'll know it's in the future because little Sam is older, like like a teen or something.
Right.
Or then we see a scene with Brienne somewhere, but like no one else is with her, and it's like, when is this? Is that like, and that'll be like the last mystery that will be like the unsolved debate forever. People will be like, when did these scenes actually take place? Like, what is it? That'd be cool. Like, I'd love that. Just go for chaos. Like, just let people not know. Don't give everyone all the answers and stuff. Like, that's the only way this can end okay at this point. Is don't give everyone the answers. Let them try and guess what happens and stuff, and let them like have the theories live on and stuff. I don't know. I'm trying to make this more exciting.
I don't know. He says,
I'm sorry.
Defeated. Oh boy.
I'm trying to find a way.
I don't think Daenerys is pregnant. Sam is having a kid. I don't remember if they said it.
They're having a second.
Well, they wouldn't know if it's a boy or a girl. They don't have that technology.
Someone said something at one point. They knew what it was, right, in the show?
No, how could they know it's a boy?
I mean, I don't know how they know.
They wouldn't know. Do you think?
Oh yeah, it was Khal Drogo. They knew he was having a boy or something.
Well, they didn't know.
Or they claimed he was having a boy.
And they didn't, and they never knew. Yeah,
the stallion.
How do you say Brienne?
Brienne. Show, yeah.
Is she pregnant? She could be. I don't think we'll get to
I don't know if they need to do that.
No, I don't think they needed to do a lot of that.
Yeah.
So it's it's like might as well take it all the way. Everybody's pregnant.
Arya's pregnant.
with Gendry Jr.?
Oh no.
And they name it Ned. Oh no, they're naming other. That's what they're they're naming the existing kid Ned, right? Sam Jr. or something, or John.
They're gonna name him John.
John, sorry.
Yeah, and somebody earlier said, "What if Nymeria is also a faceless man, and she was the horse?"
Yep.
I like that comment a lot.
I'm just waiting for what's his face.
Or like the horse delivers Arya to Nymeria. Nymeria like slips him a C note, and then it's like,
yo,
let's go.
Chat, you help me out with these, chat. Obviously we got to see Syrio Forel show up.
Oh yeah, I know because
he didn't die.
He's unconfirmed death.
Yeah, he actually will be like,
fierce.
you'll find out that he was one of the characters like making all this work and stuff. The wildling who always knew Jon wasn't really a wildling, who warged into a crow. But in the books, you actually find out what he does. But like he does warg into a crow. He'll show up and warg back into something, and like he'll be like, "I knew it was you all along, Jon Snow," and like kill him. Yeah, that'll happen.
Dario will come back. Everybody.
I've been waiting for that plot line with the crow for so long. It has to be your ending.
I think it could also just be like every character on the show ever is just like, hey, I heard what Dany did, and they all just show up and they just go crazy down in King's Landing, and then
they're just going crazy down there at King's Landing.
I can't anymore. Is it Sunday yet?
Yeah, it was the end here.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my, oh goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know if saying you're entitled to better writing is the best way to put it, but
no.
It would have been in the best interest of everyone to have better writing, a class of writing.
I think that as far as like getting viewers, they didn't need to. I think they'll all watch it. So really, it's just for the people that, for our enjoyment, it would have been nice.
Yeah, they're trading off Twitter GIF and meme reactions in the moment for long-term quality and like for posterity. Like the show will be, like, even these last seasons will be viewed as some of the best television. They're not. It's gonna be, you did this for the sake of ratings,
right?
At the expense of your the story falls apart.
Yeah. So meanwhile, on Barry,
I haven't watched.
Barry's great.
Barry's great.
That was a good one.
We continue to like Barry.
I started rewatching Breaking Bad. I watched the first episode again.
Brandon blew my mind the other day. He was like, yeah, I didn't start watching Breaking Bad till like the fourth season or something?
I saw the first season, and then I skipped 2, and then
wow.
and most of 3, came back at the end of 3 because you were I just missed 2. You just like season 2, and I was like doing something else. I was reviewing a game or it was E3 or something, and then
that's good.
Watched an episode or 2 and kept talking to you while you were watching 3, and then near the end of 3 you were like, you gotta watch this, and I saw the end of 3 and was like, whoa, this show is amazing, and then I watched all of 4 and all of 5.
Brandon doesn't recall Los Pollos Hermanos, so
wow!
I know.
No, of course, yeah, no, I missed all that.
That's
stuff.
all right. I didn't start watching that show until season 3.
Yeah.
I when season 3 came out, I was like, okay, I've heard enough about this. I gotta watch it. Caught up, started watching there.
So good.
But no, listen, Game of Thrones is gonna be a disappointment. There's still hope for this year, Jones.
Star Wars?
For me, well, Stranger Things.
Dragon Quest Builders 2?
Stranger Things is going to be all at once, so we can't really do this for Stranger Things. We'll just have to do it normal. So we know what we are doing at the end of this year, Jones, when it comes out. And Amanda, probably you too.
Yay.
Star Trek Picard.
Yes.
We're absolutely doing that. Because I have hope and faith. Good stuff will come from that show. Please.
What is happening?
10 episodes.
I want every episode to be a close-up on Jean-Luc Picard's face, and he goes, I remember when, and then it's a flashback episode.
Yeah, are they going to do any age tech? Are they going to do any Picard age tech?
Well, they revealed the first shot,
right.
And it's him asking a Starfleet officer, or he's checking in with a Starfleet officer. They did a CBS event yesterday. He's checking in with a Starfleet officer, and the officer goes, "Sir, may I have your name?" And Picard's just like, gives like a look, like it's not like meant to be funny. Like
he is funny.
Yeah, but it's great. And like,
I'm so excited.
He didn't say it yesterday, but his statement about it was so good. Like I love Patrick Stewart. His comment about why he wants to revisit the Picard character, despite him almost 2 decades ago saying, "I think we've explored this character enough," is like, I feel like this is a really good character to revisit from all the feedback I've seen from fans in recent years, and then, and then like in the current times, I feel like this is a character can offer very helpful messages to like. I was like, okay, this show is gonna be good.
I'm excited.
I was like, it's like, we're doing this.
I'm excited.
And they confirmed it is 18 years after Star Trek Nemesis.
Yay, good.
So it's 20 years after the end of Star Trek: The Last Generation, and it is in the main timeline. It's the same Picard.
I wonder if we get any Beverly Crusher and Deanna Troy.
There's got to be somebody.
They kept
there's got to be
somebody.
Jordy would be fun.
Yeah.
But before that happens,
no Data though.
There's still one more episode.
Well, it's
there's a Data replica
that we got to get through.
They put Data into the third one they had, the one that found in Nemesis.
That's not really Data though.
It actually it is.
Is it?
And he's the one who actually fights Nero in the prequel comic to the 2009 film.
Oh.
Whoa.
I just realized I've been completely outclassed.
That Data is
You are flying a different fleet of shark ships.
that Data becomes head of the current Enterprise, and he's sent to go and try and stop Nero because Geordi built Spock's ship, the one in 2009. Yes, he's the designer of that ship. And Picard was helping...
My lore has holes in it. Oh, I used lore. I don't mean lore. Not that lore.
Not the evil lore. That Star Trek lore.
No, but I don't know anything.
But Data goes to fight him and he loses. They actually like lose and stuff. But it is the actual Data.
Wow. Oh, that's good. It's Data's Data.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So he's around. He will be around.
After Game of Thrones, I can finally watch Gotham because Gotham's done. So I can just finally fly through Gotham. I know I can do the whole thing.
Oh, good.
But we still have one more episode. And unlike this delayed reaction, we will be the earliest reaction.
Yes. Sunday night.
Yeah, get ready because watch that early if you can because we're gonna go live. We currently have a schedule for 8. Because we get access to it at 6 p.m. Pacific time here.
So it'll be 6 to 7:30ish is when we'll be watching it.
Yeah.
So
we'll start at 8.
I'm gonna come to the studio and watch it here in this room. Actually, I'm gonna watch it. And then when Brandon arrives, and if you'd like to come too, obviously, we'd love to have you.
We might come here. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well,
you don't know. You don't need to watch it with him. And after you're done watching,
we might.
But you're more than welcome to watch it with me too. That's totally I'd love that.
I don't know if that would make the reactions better or worse. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of nice to see it separately and then
it works good. Well, that way. Yeah. Some point after 7:30 p.m. our time, probably I would guess maybe 8-ish. To be safe, we will go live and have our discussion. Probably a little bit more raw reactions, knee-jerk reactions.
We should have little lemon cakes or something. They're Sansa's favorite. Little lemon cakes.
Oh yeah, the Queen of Thorns. We know Sansa. And why did her and Tywin have to go away?
We have to get out of here. We have to get out of here. Are you sure? Yes, we have to get out of here. Are you really sure? Yes, we have to get out of here. Okay, let's go. Whoa. She finds the mom and kid. I came here to do a thing. I'm not going to do that thing. So now I'm going to do a different thing. Let's go do the thing. I failed.
This is Brandon's issue with blowing up the sept.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, not the sept. This was Arya at the end when she grabs the mom and kid.
I don't know what's going on.
With the white horse. And she's finally okay, I'm set.
That was the brother.
Everyone eating after now, you're going to die.
Older brother.
They run outside. They all die anyway. I was like,
I don't know what she was trying to do.
Oh, yeah.
Older brother? I thought that was kid's mom.
No. It's a boy. It's a boy. It's a boy.
All right.
Maybe I'll bring some Raising Cane's, some chicken to celebrate the Hound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hyden, you're late. Sorry.
Bacon.
We're done. We're wrapping it.
Black.
Yeah, we're...
I think... Yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Trying to think if anybody.
So to wrap up, I'd like to do a discussion of the episode the way that the writers do it.
Oh, sure.
We did a really good thing in this episode. We wrote that thing. Did you see the thing we wrote?
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah, I followed the logic perfectly.
Yes, I agree. It really all made sense. And that time that we did that other thing, we did that well. Yeah,
it was really surprising to see how ingenious it was. It just made so much sense to us when we realized that was the obvious answer for that thing. It had to be that thing and nothing else, and it just fits so perfectly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Thank goodness. And the world was at peace.
All right, we will see you all Sunday for the end of this madness. So thank you both for joining me.
My pleasure.
Thank you all for watching. Bye. Ugh.